Hey there, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach, and every month I come to you in our online academy and through podcast and other ways to basically break down a concept that I think can be very valuable for you. This is a smaller portion of what I teach in Monster Producer, which is our big monthly coaching program. We believe a monster producer is a legendary creature that combines multiple skills to dominate a market. And I believe there's a lot of confusion as it relates to running a business. And what a good coach should be doing for you is taking complicated things and making them simple. What a good coach should be doing for you is accelerating your path. And so in today's course, what I'm going to break down for you is how to clear the mechanism, how to eliminate the noise, how to eliminate distraction, how to keep the main thing the main thing. And you say, well, why would I do a course on this? Because lots of people, and when I say lots of people, are confused about the purpose of the business. The purpose of the business is to generate a new customer. And I think there's a confusion of time. I think there's a confusion of energy. I think there's a confusion of activity. I think there's a confusion of everything. So what I'm going to do in this course is I'm going to break down some strategies for you to do what Kevin Costner did in the movie For Love of the Game. When he got on the mound, right, he had a saying, and he would tell himself, clear the mechanism, clear the mechanism, right? So I'm Coach Michael Burt. This course is called How to Clear the Mechanism and Eliminate the Noise.
A monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Running a business can be tough. It can beat you down. We bring the motivation. We bring the structure. We bring the strategy. How do you explain your services? How do you work a selling system? How do you follow up like a machine? How do you extract 5.7 referrals from every transaction? Our number one goal is to get you a 43% increase in your business. And I want to show you how to be a monster producer.
I must confess that I feel like a monster.
Prepare yourself for a 43% increase to your business.
I feel like a monster.
Monster Producer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Begins now.
All right. Welcome to Monster Producer, monthly coaching segment. We do put this out in podcast form. Also, it goes to our online academy. For those members of our online academy, I like fresh content, updated content, weekly and monthly content. If you're in our coaching program, a Monster Producer, you also have access to a Monday, what I call Call with Coach, or a Monday accountability session with Coach that I think is always really valuable for people. So every Monday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I get on a call. I call it a Call with Coach, an accountability session. And I break down concepts, right? I break down the biggest concepts that we're teaching. Well, in this month, or actually in the month of November, we covered a concept called How to Clear the Mechanism. And when you think about distraction, most of the companies that I'm coaching, and most of the people that I'm coaching, by the way, have a saying or believe that they're wasting as much as 3 to 4 hours a day not generating new business. They're wasting up to 3 to 4 hours per day. Now, I mean, let's just say they're wasting 4 hours a day. That's 20 hours a week. That's 80 hours a month wasted. And what? Distraction, low value activity, things that pull us away from the business. So what is a distraction? A distraction is anything that pulls you away from your main priority. Now, the main priority in a business is generating a new customer. The main priority in a business is generating new money. It's calling on new money. That's the purpose of the business. So I want you to think about how much time you're wasting in a given cycle that has nothing to do with generating a new customer. It has nothing to do with producing a new money. It has nothing to do with advancing your sales goals toward your dominant focus. It has nothing to do with growing the business, promotion of the business, marketing of the business, getting a new customer, loving on your current customers, getting referral out of your current customer base. Well, many people have distractions because of adversities. And at adversity is an unwanted outcome. It's a departure away from the ideal scene. When you have an adversity, is a departure away. Now, so when you do have an adversity, how do you handle that adversity? How do you handle a departure away from the ideal scene? Could be a bad customer, could be a person that doesn't pay, could be an employee that creates a problem, could be a personal issue that you have. Like when you have an unwanted outcome, how do you handle that unwanted outcome, right? So let me ask you this question. How much time, money, and energy is distraction costing you? See, there's a cost opportunity to this. Every second that you spend on an adversity, an unwanted outcome, every second that you spend on a problem, every second you spend in drama is costing you something, because you cannot simultaneously be working on something else while you're working on that. It is a tax. It is an emotional tax. So for you, how much money is it costing you? This year alone in 2019, I had one problem that cost me $357,000. Not only did it cost me $357,000 of cash that I will never recoup, it cost me emotional tax. It cost me time and energy. It cost me heartache. It cost me stress. It cost me all kinds of things. So it actually probably didn't cost me $357,000. It probably cost me $2 million in potential revenue by dealing with the $357,000 problem because of whatever, poor decision making, lack of discernment, too naive, whatever. Okay. Now that was a distraction. I had to eliminate that distraction. So for you, when you're thinking about this, my buddy Tim Grover said this to me once. Top players don't lose their confidence. They lose their focus. I want you thinking right now, where do you lose your focus? Most people get distracted by the smallest things. Somebody says no, rejection. They don't like what their boss said. They don't like what their husband or wife said. They get distracted off the main thing. Right now, I want you to ask yourself, how much money are you losing as a result of this distraction? Think about this. Here's the tool we're teaching you. Clear the mechanism. Clear the mechanism. Clear the mechanism. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing. The purpose of the business is to generate new money. The purpose of the business is high value activity. Every day we got to be generating new money. Every day we got to be closing people in the pipeline. Every day we got to be loving on new customers. Every day we got to be adding triple net value to our biggest customers. The product or service, your emotional support, access to your networks. That's the triple value. So if you had to say what are the top distractions that pull you away from production, what would they be? Now, I want to show you a tactic that I use, and I actually learned this from Dr. Covey, Stephen Covey, many years ago. He learned it from Viktor Frankl, who was in a Nazi prison camp. He said, between what happens to you in your life, that's a stimulus, and the response to what happens to you, that's your response, is a space. And in that space lies your ability to choose your response. That means between a thought and an action is a space. Between something that happens to you and your response to what happens to you is a space. Between stimulus and response is a space. And in that space lies your ability to choose your response. Now, I want to combo that with another tool that I learned from Dr. Covey many years ago, which was a circle of concern versus the circle of control. If you were drawing a circle, okay, and I'll show you what mine looks like on my iPad. If you were drawing a circle, there would be an outside circle. That is your circle of concern. These are things that you're concerned about, but you can really do nothing about. The red is your actual circle of control. These are things you can do something about. You can do something about your attitude. You can do something about your work ethic. You can do something about how you handle objection and rejection. You can do something about what kind of energy you put out. You can do something about the greeting you have with people, the disarmament you have with people. Okay, you can do something about the follow-up, finding the problem. You can do something about offering a solution. Like you can do something about all of these things, right? But you can't do anything about your circle of concern. These are things you're concerned about, but you can't do anything about. Many times you can't do anything about what other people think about you. You can't do anything about the external economy. You can't do anything about people that are going to disappoint you. You can't do anything about a number of things, right? But there are some direct things that you can do something about. Okay. So I want to stop right here and I want to ask you a simple question. Number one, a simple couple questions. Number one, how much money, time, energy is distraction costing you? Number two, what are things that you spend all kinds of time thinking about in your circle of concern that are not in your circle of control? Now, when we come back, I'm going to show you, okay, I'm going to show you basically 7 or 8 things of where your distractions could be coming from. A distraction, again, is anything that pulls you away from your primary focus. I'm Coach Michael Burt. You're listening to Monster Producer. You're watching the monthly breakdown of Monster Producer.
Monster Producer is an incredible network. The ability that Coach has to bring people together and bring them together in a place where you're comfortable, where it's easy to learn about other people's businesses, where it's easy to show people what you do. That network is the most powerful part about Monster Producer. Coach has an incredible way to teach you and to coach you and to motivate you and to keep you moving forward in your business and create certain structures for selling legacy, for ways to completely change your business and create a paradigm shift. That's what I get out of Monster Producer. Monster Producer has completely changed my business. I created a whole new service level from being a part of Monster Producer. One event that I came to caused me to think completely differently about what accounting is, what it does for other companies, and how we really help people. And so each time that I come to Monster Producer, I have a new way of thinking about my business that is different than before, and that's what I love coming to these events for. Every time I'm going to have a new way of thinking about my business.
All right, welcome back to Monster Producer. Every month I break down the biggest concepts. This concept I covered in the month of November 2019, and it was how to clear the mechanism. When you think about distraction is anything that pulls you away from the primary focus. The primary focus is calling on new money, closing money in your current pipeline, onboarding your newest customers, and loving on your biggest customers. That you should be doing every single day. And adversity is an unwanted outcome, pulls you away. How you handle the adversity is based on your response to the stimulus, right? I actually think conflict could be necessary for your expansion in many cases. And then there's a circle of control. There's a circle of concern. Now, let me give you some areas of distraction. I want you to pick yours. Number one, your distraction could be coming from your purpose and your goals are too small. Think about big time people. They do not get deterred away from their big goals because they have very big goals. They don't have time to mess around in low value activity, drama, majoring in the minors, worrying about what people think. They just don't have time and energy to devote to these things because their goals are so big. I find that when you don't have any goals, you're very easily distracted. Like you're very easily distracted when you don't have any goals, right? When you do have big goals, your desire to hit your goal is greater than your desire for these things. Okay. I remember when I was pushing my wife to write this book, Living with the Monster, and it was a little uncomfortable for her. I said to her, your desire to help people has got to be greater than your desire to be comfortable. Now, do you want to help people or do you want to be comfortable? Help me to understand, right? Like your goals are not big enough. Number two, distraction. You got lack of clarity about your dominant focus. Like your dominant focus is a single tangible outcome you would like to drive in a 12-month cycle is measured in 30-day windows. It is the number you're trying to hit every 30 days. And if you hit that number every 30 days, 12 straight times, you hit it. So you may have a lack of clarity because to me, you got a time management problem when you don't have clarity about your dominant focus. When you have clarity of your dominant focus, you are either moving toward that dominant focus or away from that dominant focus. Number three, lack of clarity about time systems. I instituted this year with my company a time system. We meet at 8:15 every morning till about 9 a.m. That's a pump-up session and an instructional period. My team watches 6 segments of our online academy every day before they get to work. From 9 to 11:30, it's nothing but new money. We role play at 11:30. We eat lunch. At 12:30, we meet again. We have nothing but new money or servicing current customers from 1 to 3:30. We can do strategy, and at 4:30 every day, we need to role play. And it's not a good training program if you don't have content, repetition, role play, and testing. That's how you build a great training platform. It's not a great training platform if you don't have those 4 things. So when you're thinking about this concept of time systems, I have eliminated confusion. Confusion is randomness in motion. So do you have a good time system? Do you prospect 4.5 hours a day? Do you have time to service customers? Do you meet as a team? So one of your problems may be lack of clarity of time systems. Okay, here's another one: lack of clarity about the main things in life. Sometimes we lose sense of priority when we don't have clarity of the main things. This is why I'm so excited about Jim Shields, the retreat I'm doing with Jim Shields, who wrote the book 18 Summers, because he says you only get 18 summers with your kids. You could have a willingness to allow other people to pull you into low value activity. Low value activity is any activity you participate in that is not tied to your dominant focus. Or you may participate in low value activity, right? In drama, okay? In wasted time and energy, okay? Now, I want to stop right there, and I want to ask you, out of those 4 or 5 things, which one creates the most distraction for you? How do you clear the mechanism to not get caught up in these things? How do you remind yourself not to get caught up in these things? Now, let me give you 4 more. Number 1, many people believe, or there's a theory out there that says all conflict or drama is created by a third-party person, i.e. there's 2 people have a good relationship with each other. A third-party person pollutes the mindset of those 2 people. Now you got problems. Do not let people confuse this situation, right? Do not let people confuse the situation. Willingness to listen to your feelings versus fight through your feelings is a distraction. Willingness to easily get off the system, lack of preparation. Do you have in-the-moment discipline, not mastering moments? Understanding the vicious cycle of starting with good intention, fail to follow through, experience guilt. And finally, success or failure as a distraction. What if I told you one of the biggest distractions that you could be facing in your life is success? Could be the success trap. When your basic needs are met, satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. So I see a huge suppressor of prey drive. A huge distraction is boredom. I'm bored, so I get into trouble. I'm bored, so I go do this. I'm bored, so I take my eye off the primary business. I'm bored, so I get into a secondary flow. I'm bored, right? Here's an example. I love real estate, but I do not shop for real estate during my coaching workday because coaching is my primary business. My real estate is a secondary business that flows from my primary business. Without my primary business, I cannot buy any real estate. Now, we come back in this final segment. I'm going to break down, how do you clear the mechanism in such a way? How do you build your mental toughness? How do you build your mental toughness so that you can clear the mechanism? And I want you thinking about the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars you're costing yourself by allowing distraction into the equation. I'm Coach Michael Burt. You're watching Monster Producer.
This event here that I'm at Coach's Lodge, is the Monster Producer Retreat. I signed up for it a few months ago after talking to Eric and learning and following Coach with the idea that I want to become a professional coach and speaker. This retreat has been absolutely indispensable in my self-development. I'll tell you, my book came out 6 months ago, and in 6 months I'm getting on stages. I've been interviewed on the radio. I'm going to be on television. My book is the #1 book for young entrepreneurs. And if you had told me a year and a half ago that that would have happened, I would have laughed in your face. The key, folks, is that when you hire Coach Burt or you come to a retreat like this, is you've got to back it with action. And I guarantee if you back it with action, great things will happen. Being coached by Coach, man, is like a shot of adrenaline every day. I have never met anybody that has more energy radiating off of that forehead. He's got more energy just coming out of him, man, than Ferrari. I mean, he's on fire. He brings his A game. It's inspired me. That's how I've always been. And he's been a great coach, a great mentor, and I know over time he's going to become a great friend.
Welcome back to Monster Producer. Our final segment today as I break down this concept of how to clear the mechanism. To me, this is pretty simple. After I taught this 8 to 10 to 12 times, we all get distracted. as Tim Grover said, people don't lose their focus. They don't lose their confidence. They lose their focus. We should be focused right here, but we're focused over here. We should be doing this, but we do this. We should be spending time getting new customers, but we spend time in drama talking about something from the past. The past is finite. The future is infinite, holds unlimited possibility. You got to get serious about your goals. So let's finish with building your mental toughness. I'm going to ask you some hard questions that only a good coach could do, right? How important is it that you achieve your targets? Number one, if it's real important, we're not going to major in the minors. We ain't going to worry about this. Like a friend of mine told me once, Coach, you're operating up here. A lot of people operate down here. Don't go down there with them. Number two, is your willingness to hit your targets greater than your feelings? Many times a distraction is your feelings. Anger, disappointment, fear, anxiety, scarcity, all feelings. Number three, you got to use negative emotions to drive positive results. And I covered this in how to activate your prey drive. Prey drive being this instinctual ability to see something with the mind or the eye and have the guts to go get it. Fear, disappointment, anger, anxiety, you got to use these. Real emotion does not come from passion. It comes from conflict. Never forget that, right? And finally, I think about people who will not be distracted. The Elon Musk of the world, even the Donald Trumps of the world, people that just get up every day, man, and they have all these reasons to be distracted, but they just know how to clear the mechanism. I'm thinking about my big goal of building greatness factories and how easy it is to get distracted from a building perspective, from raising capital perspective. So easy to say, man, it's going to be so hard. Why do it? The fact that it's hard means that most people will never do it. You have got to make a decision that you're not going to allow distraction to creep into your life. And the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. How much time, energy, and money is distracting you? It's distraction costing you. I'm Coach Michael Burt. Every month I teach Monster Producer. I put this in our online academy for our coaching students in there. This is one of the biggest things that I taught all year. Eliminate distraction and you're going to prosper. I promise you. I'm Coach Michael Burt. A monster producer is a legendary creature.